Good morning, my beautiful sunflowers. How are y'all this morning? Y'all check out that sun, and it's just so beautiful. You know, they talk about vortexes in Sedona, places like Sedona, Taos, New Mexico. I think I'm pronouncing that right. But there's vortexes everywhere, in my personal opinion. And it's your perspective, you know. I come out here and there's a trail. It's oh god, it's right in the middle of a neighborhood, and so you get to run into people every once in a while, but yet and still you come across and you come upon just beautiful things and things of magnificent things in nature. For instance, this tree, I caught notice to it. I was in deep thought, and it's I believe it's an evergreen. And I don't know if it's cypress or not, but it's really cool. So like, it's a tree has grown. I've made a fairy thing, but a tree has grown around another tree, and then that's the and that magnificent. That is so big and huge, and I just want to climb it, but shaved, they've cut down all the limbs to get up there. I'm gonna figure it out one day. You just sit back and watch. But anyways, talk about vortexes in Sedona, and but there's vortexes everywhere. You just have to feel for them, right? And this trail, for me personally, I feel that there are vortexes throughout this trail, because this trail, whenever I was going through things, or whenever I go through things, or whenever I have decisions to make, this is where I come to think. This is where I come to get answers, where I come to relieve stress and just be out in nature and breathe in air and hear the birds, because they're always chirping, and they'll tell you a lot of like what's going on in your surroundings. Like if they get frantic, then you know there's prey nearby, right? And so you tune in, and you also get to watch the trees as they transform through the seasons. So I've been coming here for a couple of years now, I believe, and you can tell when winter comes how the bark around the trees, they develop like this armor to let's see if I can find one that's not transitioning. They've all kind of shed it, but just gotta get out in nature. Okay, here's one over here. So let me show y'all. Watch. Sadie, we're not going anywhere. Okay, so some might think that this tree was sick, right? But this tree is, well, it might be sick, but it's shedding its bark, and you'll see that throughout. I took notice this year that they have, it's like this, it looks like an armor, like armadillo armor around the trees to protect themselves throughout the harsh, the coldness and the frigidness of the winter. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to recognize and witness how nature adapts. And one of my mantras is be like the tree, because a tree, it just is. It exists. It's beautiful. It has a purpose. It has a major purpose. So I wouldn't be able to talk to you without it, right? We wouldn't be alive without, we wouldn't have our breath if it wasn't for the tree just being. And just by, oh, here's one that has a hardened, so like, see how thick that is and hardened? Just by being and existing and being beautiful and breathing and growing and adapting, it's still providing an essential part of life. You know what I mean? And so when I say be like the tree, I'm telling myself, like, there's no reason for you to be so caught up in what's going on that in your surroundings, in terms of taking you out of your peace, because it's going to change, right? Everything changes, just like these trees. So be like the tree, forever adapting, forever knowing, forever changing, forever existing. Just be like the tree and breathe. The majority, The trees exist to breathe. They breathe in CO2, breathe out oxygen. Give me a second. Sage, come. Come, Sage. Good girl, sit. Sit. Good girl. You need to relax. Thank you. Yeah, so just being. Just out here just being. Of course, I ain't got no shoes on. I know everybody think I'm crazy when I do that, but it grounds me. I feel connected. It's cold. But it teaches all the things that I've been through in terms of being out in nature or just in life has it didn't happen to me, right? I've heard people say it didn't happen to you, it happened for you. And that's true, because whenever you are going through something, you are actually also growing through something. And that's with everything in life. There's nothing in your life that's permanent. Nothing in life is permanent. And once we grasp that and once we understand that, then we'll have our perspective will be better in terms of dealing with fear and loss and things of lower vibration, because you'll know that there's nothing has permanence. Nothing has permanence. Nope. Good girl, come. Not even life itself. Like, we're not even guaranteed our next breath. So why hold on to it? You can't hold on to it, right? Whenever you, Sage, you about to get hooked up to this backpack, girl. You can't relax. Just as happy as she can be. Whenever you breathe in, whenever you inhale, you have to exhale. So it's so within, without, right? So you try to hold on to your breath. If you want to, you're gonna die. But yeah, I say that to reiterate that there's nothing in this life that's permanent. And so if we understand that, when we understand that, we're going to understand it, right? When we understand that, we'll know that there's no need for attachment. There's no need for suffering. It's just being and just trusting that whatever comes was meant to grow your soul. And that's kind of just where I'm at currently. There's decisions that need to be made. You'll need to make decisions. Sage, you're gonna hurt yourself. You need to make decisions, and those decisions may not. The people around you may not agree with those decisions, or people around you may not understand those decisions. But as long as you're making the decisions from your heart and for the best interest of growing your soul, and not pleasing everybody else, then there's no right or wrong, right? There's no right or wrong decision in terms of you moving on from something, or you deciding to, I want to change careers. I don't want to do this anymore, because we're not robots. They're making all these robots. These robots are programmed to do whatever you program them to do. Now they've turned us into robots, because they've programmed us to think a certain way, to live a certain way, to exist in certain energies and in different programs in terms of greed, envy, lower vibrational things. Like, we're not existing in love as a majority. Whenever somebody is a loving person, they'll get labeled as soft or weak, simp, words that I've heard, thirsty. Just because somebody embodies a loving energy, we've labeled it as something negative, and it's not negative. It's just we're not used to it. People aren't used to love, and so yeah. With that being said, we've got to shift. Sage, get your butt back up here. We've got to shift our mindset and shift our perspective to reprogram ourselves to love, like a love unconditional, like the love of a child. Children you can be a child's teacher, and if you show them, when they recognize love in you, then they're gonna display it. And even with kids who are being abused, still loving on their parents and stuff like that. So it's an innocence. It's just a pure love until it gets tainted, right? And once it gets tainted, it doesn't mean that it can't revert back. It just takes some self-awareness and some self-remembering, some remembrance that unconditional love exists in you, within you. The power is within you to be different. The power is within you to change and to just love your brother and sister. And I don't mean your biological siblings. I mean everybody. We're all connected, right? So love thy neighbor, like they say. That's not just your neighbor. That's your brother and sister. And so when we change that, when we alter that, things will start to shift and be a lot better within our relationships. And as far as the women goes, I'm speaking to you from a woman who has embodied a masculine. I've been taught to be independent. I was taught to be strong. I was taught to be like, you're the strong one. You're the rock. That's your role, right? Because that's what my mom had to be, right? And so that's what was mirrored to me, and that's what I was taught. But now I have to get into an energy of femininity, and it's sort of challenging because I was actually, I was a collegiate athlete, and so we were like gladiators out there battling. It was very physical. Played at a D1 level, so it was very, very physical. Elbows, fights, arguments, pushing. It's very barbaric. But femininity that we embody both is just which one are we feeding? Which one are we feeding is the one that's going to be mirrored, right? So when we fully embody our feminine energy and find and seek that balance, then the way that you approach things and the way that you handle things will be so more calm, in terms of, say that somebody didn't get your order right at the restaurant. Instead of you going off on this being for making a mistake and being human, you tend to approach it in a different way and not so combative. Things are so combative whenever we're not existing in our feminine nature. Look at the world. It's not feminine. Look at the world, man. All these men are in charge and we're at war. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta embrace and empower feminine. We gotta embrace and empower our feminine energy. Anyways, with that being said, I'm gonna finish this hike and feed Sagey Sage and continue being, y'all. Get out in nature. I'm gonna say that every single video because nature will teach you so much. It'll expose your fears. It will expose your fears. One night, I can tell y'all, I wanted to face my fear of hiking in the dark at night without the dogs, and it was a full moon, and so I was just guided, like, all right, let's go. And so, hey, she chasing squirrels. And so I went, and I have never been so fearful in my life. Sage, come, Sage. Give me a second. Sage, come. What are you doing? Being a dog? Yeah. I've never been so fearful in my life, but what that made me realize, it made me think about how these women that were escaping and running from slavery felt when they were by themselves, 8 or 9 months pregnant, no shoes, no paved roads. It's just them in this wooded area. There's wildlife, there's predators out there, and they have one thing on their mind: freedom. Freedom. Think about how mentally strong that woman had to be. Or a woman just had a baby and she's like, I don't want my child to be raised in this. This is bull crap. Bullshit. And I'm gonna go. And so she takes her newborn baby and they run. Like, can you imagine the fear that they had to overcome? And here I am on this trail that's hold on, there's a worm. Throw it back on there. I'm country, y'all. I don't know if y'all knew that, but I'm country as I'll get out. And fishing sounds fun. Anyways, yeah, this woman, the fear that she's had to overcome to get to freedom. And here I was on this trail. It was, like, I don't even know the word for it, but it was a trail, like a visible trail, where this woman just had to trek it. Snakes, spiders, like, he just had to trek it, and with one thing on her mind: freedom. That's what we're missing. That's what we've forgotten. We've forgotten that power in us. We've forgotten that that desire for freedom. We settled in and accepted what they wanted to give us. Stimulus checks. Those stimulus checks, that wasn't even enough to pay some people's rent for a month. And yet we're hollering stimulus. And I'm like, there really ain't no money. And we're in debt. So why are they giving us money if we're in debt? Right? So I didn't quite understand that, but they knew that our mindset is gimme, whatever it is, gimme, and not really sitting back and thinking, like, that's not money. How about you give us some groceries and things that we can use, and not keep restaurants like McDonald's. No, nothing against McDonald's. My sister is a GM at McDonald's, but keeping places like fast food restaurants that aren't really that good they're not good for our health. I'm just going to be completely honest. They're not good for our health. How about you give us lessons on how to cultivate and how to germinate seeds and things like that, versus throwing us $2,000 that we wasted on a trip to Florida and don't know how to grow no fruits and vegetables, and educating ourselves, right? So, again, control. It's like throwing us a bone. Let's throw these savages a bone and watch them, watch them marvel over it. This bone with no meat on it, right? They're just gonna clean their teeth and not get fulfilled. Nothing of sustenance. Yeah. So. I'm just rambling now. But anyways, yeah, we got to get back to that. We got to remember who we are, ladies and gents. We come from warriors, and it doesn't matter if you're white, black. Every nation, every nationality has a story to tell. They have ancestors. Everybody has ancestors. Everybody has higher powers and higher beings that they call to or worship or pray to or what have you. There's nothing superior, you know what I mean? Like, granted, there are some people who are far more advanced than the other, but nobody's better than the other. There's nobody out here that's better than the other. Now, do I think I'm the best thing since sliced bread? Yeah, because I want that confidence in myself. All right, I need to love me before anybody else can. And it's the same for anybody else. But anyways, y'all, with that being said, I'm gonna quit rambling, finish this hike, take my black boy home, and be. And I hope y'all are having a blessed day. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And most of all, make sure that y'all are spreading love and do everything in love. Everything in love, and give. I've gotten away from that, and I've stopped receiving. COVID's taught me a lot. My experiences have taught me a lot. My surroundings and the people around me have taught me quite a bit. Gotta give. All right. Anyways, with that being said, love, peace, and coconut hair grease. Y'all have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.